we're looking at Rave the World Radio launching its 10th channel. And the way they talk about it, this is a much bigger deal than just a new playlist.
It is. And that number 10, that's really the hook. For them, hitting channel 10 isn't just about adding more content. It's a threshold.
A threshold.
Yeah, the launch materials frame it as a sign of maturity, of intention. They're not just, throwing sounds out there. They're building something with a purpose.
And that something is the Jubilee Afrobeats Channel. What jumped out at me immediately was the language they use. They call it a hinge.
Such a specific word, right? A hinge connects things. It's meant to connect all their earlier work in global sounds with where they believe the future is.
So by making their big 10th channel about Afrobeats, they're making a statement.
A huge one. They're basically saying that sounds rooted in Africa are no longer on the periphery. They're the central engine of global music now.
The charts would agree. But okay, before we go any further, we have to tackle the terminology. Because the research makes a massive deal out of a single letter.
The S.
The S at the end of Afrobeats.
It's everything. It's the difference between a historical moment and a living, breathing movement. Afrobeat, that's the root.
That's Fela Kuti.
Fela Kuti, 1970s Nigeria. It's jazz-infused, it's funk, and it is explicitly political music. It's resistance.
Whereas Afrobeats, plural, that's the wave we're all hearing today.
Exactly. The S means fusion. It's that original sound colliding with highlife, dancehall, hip-hop, amapiano. It's the sound of Burna Boy, Wizkid, Tiwa Savage.
Rema, Thames.
All of them. The channel is deliberately highlighting that lineage. They're showing this isn't just disposable pop, it's an evolution.
That context makes the channel's Jubilee feel a lot heavier. I just hear Jubilee and I think, big party.
And it is a celebration, sure, but think about the historical weight of that word. Jubilee means liberation, a cycle of freedom.
Oh.
So by calling it that, they're reframing the whole genre. This isn't some fleeting trend, it is a cultural achievement.
Okay, but that creates a bit of a friction for me with the platform itself.
Right.
We're talking about Rave the World Radio. I associate rave with techno warehouses.
Mechanical repetition, I get it.
Right. So how do they bring that together with Afrobeats?
Well, it's less about a merger and more about recognizing a kind of shared DNA. The research points out that both rave culture and Afrobeats are built on collective experience.
On rhythm.
Rhythm, repetition, and creating, altered states of awareness. They aren't trying to smash them together. They're letting two powerful languages exist in the same space.
So it's about the function of the music, the shared pulse, not just the beats per minute.
Precisely. And that brings us to what I think is the most fascinating idea in this whole thing. The politics of joy.
The politics of joy.
Yeah. We tend to dismiss dance music as just escapism, right? You go to the club to forget things. But the channel argues that in places shaped by inequality or colonialism, collective joy is a form of resistance.
Wow. So in that framework, curation becomes a political act.
Yes. Think about the algorithm again. It just flattens everything into a mood to keep you listening. It has no context. This channel is arguing for curation as care.
Curation as care.
It lets an introspective song, a political anthem, and a club track sit side by side without stripping them of their meaning. It's an act of respect.
It treats the listener like an adult.
Hey.
And it seems to treat Africa as what the text calls a creative powerhouse.
Exactly. A place where innovation happens organically, often in spite of, massive infrastructural problems. This isn't world music, which can be a pretty condescending label.
It's just music. Dominant music.
Dominant popular culture.
Yeah.
And by making the channel permanent, not some temporary feature, they're showing commitment over opportunism.
It completely flips the old hierarchy, where Western music is the default and everything else is the alternative.
It does. And that leaves me with the final question for you, for everyone listening. The text talks about this being permanent, which brings up this idea of infrastructure as destiny.
Meaning what, exactly?
Well, if we change the pipes we use to listen, if we move from a passive algorithm to an actively curated channel like Jubilee, do we actually change the value and the respect we give to the culture itself?
Does changing the platform change how we see the art? That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for looking past the playlist with us on this deep dive.